Mr. Blodgett is very important because of his talent as an architect, a great businessman who's actually respected across the country. He started his business not having a formal education, not having real capital. So we're talking about an African-American man in the South building a successful architecture business and becoming a millionaire in the process.
He came to Jacksonville in the early 1890s. And as he said, he only came here with one paper dollar and one thin dime to his name. So he turned $1.10 into millions. So that's pretty impressive to see that happen without having a significant educational background over a 20-year period.
And he built over 200 homes, probably more than that. And unfortunately, much of his homes were destroyed when I-95 was built, and also when the present-day Shannon Jacksonville the complex started expanding. They tore down some really beautiful homes to build that complex.
So the significance of Sugar Hill neighborhood is that it represents African-American prosperity in a period of time that most would have not think there would have been any prosperity. You know, we recognize shotgun homes as African-American, and by the 1930s, that's been viewed as, oh, that's blight, that's where poor people stay. But Sugar Hill was a neighborhood where the likes of Booker T. Washington would come and be entertained. Very large homes constructed. And unfortunately, much of that has been demolished with the construction of Interstate 95, the expansion of the medical campus there. But there are side streets where several houses still remain today. So we do have an opportunity to preserve a few and have that lasting legacy for future generations.
The Great Fire of 1901 really helped build his business. So by 1898, as I said, he was calling himself an architect. He had started architecting. And the fire of 1901 was a great opportunity for him to start building. And he was one of those prominent builders. There was others, but he was that one in the Black community. And not only building just everyday common homes, but these beautiful mansions. And in the Sugar Hill area where most of these homes were, that's where it was middle to upper middle class homes, people in the community, doctors, lawyers, teachers, other really important community leaders. He built their homes. And so that fire really helped build his business because he was there to rebuild. And we have to also deal with the fact there's segregation. There wasn't going to be a white contractor to build a house like that for someone Black.
Most of his properties were destroyed in the Great Fire. However, he was able to obtain a loan to get started back up. And as he started back up, he kept several of his buildings as rental properties. So he was able to have that incremental income continue to come in, and so that is what propelled him from the disaster that he had to overcome.
At a time when African Americans were relegated as second-class citizens, low expectations of what they can accomplish and do, we had a neighborhood of hundreds of homes, several homes, built by Mr. Blodgett wasn't the only contractor at the time, architect, but built by Black people that were beautiful homes that could rival any other neighborhood in the city or across the country.
So his trademark is he was known for two-story homes that had a massive porch that would sometimes extend along the side of the house with a smaller second-story porch on top of that. And it's pretty interesting to drive down the side streets of Durkeeville, because much of his large homes in Jacksonville have been destroyed and demolished. As they were in Sugar Hill, the hospital has since expanded and it's taken up a lot of that space. But you'll still drive down some of these side streets. One is on 8th, just west of the hospital, where you'll see that house with the porch and the smaller porch upstairs. And I've noticed like 3 or 4 in the last 3 weeks now that I've actually looked for them. So that's been pretty cool to see because that's just as significant architecturally as anything else in Jacksonville's history.
His style had been copied while he was alive. And there are several structures still standing that you can see they're doing a miniature Blodgett home concept.
There's a funeral home on the corner of Beaver Street and Broad Street in La Villa, the Lawton Pratt Funeral Home, which is one of the oldest in the city. That one's still being used as a funeral home today. So really, the buildings of his that are still in existence, they're still being used as their original use.
And the fact that he became known across the country for his work, black and white people recognizing his work, that tells you what an impact he had while he was in his field.
Joseph H. Blodgett has been and will continue to be noted as one of Jacksonville's most successful businessmen in the construction and real estate industry, as he was able to construct 258 houses in the span of 18 years after the Great Fire of 1901. Blodgett passed away in his home on 1511 Hart Street. His funeral services were held at the Lawton L. Pratt Funeral Home, the same building that he designed and constructed. Blodgett's significant contributions to the city still remains.